Morne basically, although he said one question at a time, there would be a follow-up question. One is that KL is the only player, if we go back to 2018, in the batting group, he is the lone survivor of this team. So how important that experience will be in a three-match series? And also another thing is that um, Dhruv Jurel and Sarfaraz Khan, it is, is it a happy problem to live with in terms of middle order options?
Yeah, I think in these conditions you always want to have those options you can explore and you can discuss and come up with the best combination. In terms of experience, it's always handy to have that experience. I think Kyle, the last couple of years, the way he's been leading up front with the batting has been exceptional, and that's a sort of communication that we expect him to speak to the guys here in the preparation at the nets, what to expect. But I think our guys have learned a lot about their games individually over the last couple of months, and that's one of the reasons why we've come out here 10 days earlier to give the guys the best opportunity to prepare, to work on the individual game plans and yeah, just to figure out how they're going to score on the surface here.
Yeah, well, Morning, how different is it for you as coach when you have uh, a pace attack with two guys who haven't made debuts yet and one Prasid who's played only seven? So how different is it for you in a world that looks very close?
I think it's exciting. All these guys have come a long way with their skill. Gurnur here not so long ago in the A side was very successful, so he knows he's got an idea about the conditions. Prasit, Siraj, they've played a lot of cricket back home, where it's also tough bowling conditions, and I think coming here, our skill is there, the planning will be there, but the biggest challenge will be the heat, the humidity, the kookaburra ball, going back to that, once it gets a little bit softer. How we can stack up overs together with intensity and create that pressure. Because we haven't played a lot of red ball cricket the last couple of months, and going back into that is going to be a challenge. And that's something I'm quite excited. We're quite excited to see how these guys can stand up and form that partnerships and create that pressure.
There's still 2 days out of the test, but you reckon if you play the game today, it's the kind of surface where you would fancy going in with three spinners?
Yeah, I think traditionally. So if you look at at the venue, the stats and how it's been played up, I mean that's sort of the way to go. I think the way that we go with our spin bowling attack, our spinners, it's a very attacking options. And then yeah, you can sort of create pressure with seam from one side and always allow yourself with spin to operate from the other side, from the other end. But looking at the surface, for me, it looked like a good surface, and I think as the test match will go on, something will start to happen. But yeah, for us, we've prepared basically for all that can come our way. And like I said, for us, it's more about the mental challenge now, facing these conditions, batting time, bowling those spells, and getting the ball in the right area.
Hi, Mani. There's a lot of talk about Spain, but how do you see your Spain playing a part in the scene? Get out of the How do you see that your Spain factor?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be. It can play a role if teams going to get the balls to the ball to reverse a little bit. I mean, this morning we had quite a big shower, so sometimes that will make the outfield a little bit softer, and it's a bit harder, or it takes a little bit longer for the ball to reverse. But yeah, I feel yeah. In these conditions, it's all about your mindset. If you're a fast bowler, if you're going to bowl shorter spells, the energy you put in the ball into the areas, you always have opportunity. As the test match will go on, hopefully there will be a little bit of up and downs, uneven bounce. But yeah, I found here, even back in our playing days, if you hit the deck, if you ask questions on a good length, you always stood a chance of picking up the results. So I think for us, it's just to get the ball in with that energy.
Mona, you touched on the kookaburra ball being a little bit different. What
Yeah.
are the other kinds of differences that you're kind of expecting from Sri Lankan decks? What are the kinds of things that you stress to the bowlers about what they need to do?
I think it's going to be just good wickets. It is a venue or a country where, like I said in the earlier question, it's your mindset is very, very key. The ball will go softer after 20, 35 hours, expect that. But then what is our next step? And to be street smart in terms of how we're going to use the crease, how we're going to use our short ball, all those conditions and all those sort of situations we need to be able to sum up quite quickly. And then, execute it and with a lot of energy go into those areas.
Morne, of course, in the last couple of test matches here, we have seen the batters scoring big centuries, big runs here. Do you expect the same this time around? Because we have seen Bangladesh's players coming and scoring 2 centuries.
Yeah.
Australia's team with Alex Carey scoring, having 400 run partnership. Do you expect the pitch, at least in the first couple of days, to play for the batters?
For sure. I think it's a good looking surface on the eye. And yeah, I'll be slightly surprised if it goes the other way. Traditionally, the first 2 days belongs to the batting side, or your first innings basically of a batting side is just crucial to get runs on the board. So yeah, I think that's going to be important to whatever happens with the toss. To do, if you bat first, to make sure you go big, and if you bowl first, get the ball in the right area. So those disciplines are going to be important. And then from there, as the day's gone, obviously assess and then come up with the best options for the day.
How do you look at that guy?
Yeah, look, Kuldeep is there. He's attacking sort of bowler for us. Chadu, his experience and class, we can't look past. So yeah, I think for us, they're all different in their ways. Although they're left-arm spinners, what they do with the ball turns a bit more on slightly more accurate. I don't think it's a massive concern for us. It's just how Shubman Day is going to use those guys at certain times. But yeah, in terms of skill, they've got the skill there to get the 20 wickets for us.
Take last few questions. Morning. This ground is different kind of settings, and this will be they will be hosting the 50th test. What are your thoughts on this ground?
Yeah, for me, it's one of my favorite grounds in the world. Beautiful backdrop, beautiful city, fantastic venue to play cricket of. And I think in terms of test match cricket, it's a real test. It tests everything from you as a player, mentally, physically. So I'm glad to be back here. I'm glad for the boys to experience this, and hopefully we can put in a good performance here over the next 5 days, coming Saturday.